Good morning, welcome back to Big Mouth, and this morning here in Cyprus we're talking about my club, Manchester United. Many years ago when Manchester United were champions and European champions, we used to love the infighting in other clubs and the embarrassing situations. Well, now it's been turned around on us, hasn't it? Because the civil war between Manchester United fans, Pogba and Mourinho has become so embarrassing that when fans try and make fun of me because I'm a United fan, I can't argue back. What can I say? I love this club. I love this club. I fell in love with Manchester United on the day they lost the league to Blackburn because I saw their fight and their passion. What's happened to the Manchester United family? So let's talk about this. Pogba and Mourinho have not been getting on for quite a while. You see, Jose Mourinho has been treating the Manchester United players with a lot of disrespect for a while. But not all of them. His favourites are fine. But the ones he doesn't like just get cast out. Marcus Rashford, a bench warmer. Anthony Martial, a bench warmer. Paul Pogba being played out of position. When Martial does come on, played out of position. The same with Rashford. And last weekend, after we drew 1-1 to Wolves, Pogba came out and said, I can't dictate the style of play that Manchester United play. I want us to attack, but it's not up to me. It's not my job. After that, yesterday we heard from very reliable sources that Paul Pogba has been stripped of the vice-captaincy. Mourinho confirmed this at full time after that shit show which was Manchester United versus Derby County. Derby County played us off the park, just like Wolves played us off the park. We cannot play at Old Trafford. We can't dictate games. We can't dominate the possession because Jose Mourinho wants to play like the away side. It is not good enough. But let's just forget all of that, eh? He throws his coat to the crowd. He applauds the Stretford end as a tactic. He has no respect for the Manchester United fans, but he will use us to keep his job a little longer. He no longer deserves to keep his job. Do you know what he said about Phil Jones and the penalty? He said, once I knew Jones was taking a penalty, I knew we were going to lose. Think it, Jose. Don't say it. You don't publicly say that. You know, is that what Avram Grant said when John Terry was about to take the penalty in the Champions League final in 2009 and slipped over? Well, he's a defender. I knew he'd ruin it. Of course not. Why is he doing it? He's constantly disrespecting the club. Remember the Champions League exit? Talking about how Manchester United's Champions League record isn't great and how even he beat us. Remember that? He should have been sacked on the spot or at least fined just for saying that. But there's a problem. Ed Woodward wants to protect the decision he made. Now, I'll defend Ed Woodward against fans blaming him for this, that and the other. But I won't blame him for his choice of managers in LVG and Jose Mourinho. Moyes was down to Fergie, totally, the long contract, everything. You can't blame Ed for that. That was taken out of his hands. I accept that. But LVG, who at the time was doing really well for Holland, but all Ed had to do was research the guy and the fallout he's had in the past with players, and then he wouldn't have employed him. A lot of us wanted Jose Mourinho. A lot of us didn't. But those of us who wanted him knew he was no angel. We just wanted the Jose Mourinho who came to Chelsea in 2004, 2005. And if he wanted to go to war with other clubs and other players, that was fine. But nobody knew he would start a civil war between the club itself. He has lost his powers. He's not the man he was. He's come in, his first season, he won 2 trophies, which was great. I thought, right, forget the crap football, he's won 2 trophies. We can build on this. Last year, it continued, but we finished second. He could say, I finished second behind Manchester City, probably one of the greatest Champions League in Premier League history. sorry, probably one of the best championship winning sides in Premiership history. But he didn't finish second in a championship race. He just finished second. He said that was one, if not the best performances of his career. So winning the treble with Inter Milan wasn't your greatest achievement, Jose. Winning a league or two at Real Madrid wasn't one of your greatest achievements, Jose. What you did at Chelsea, Jose, wasn't one of your biggest achievements. No, finishing second after playing long ball sideways football with Fellaini, a certain starter, is one of your best achievements. What is wrong with this man? But the reality is, Jose Mourinho can only be Jose Mourinho. LVG can only be LVG. It's the board's fault for bringing in negative, substandard managers. And look at where we are now. We're a joke. We have become the butt of the jokes of other Premier League fans. And we deserve it. And what can we say in riposte? What can we possibly do to defend ourselves, to defend our club? Who can we defend? Pogba, who's barely played with a heartbeat? Mourinho? I respect Pogba for coming out and saying that. Someone had to say something. The rest of the players agree with him. Don't think that they don't. They do. Especially the ones whose careers he's ruined. Martial doesn't get picked for France. Rashford's all right because Southgate's the kind of coach who will pick you even if you don't play within 6 years, which is a good thing for Rashford. There's been a big debate already about Rashford going out on loan because he's not used enough. Then Mourinho comes out with this big list. That's not the point, Jose. The point is you play him out of position and you never start him. That's the reality. You can't spin us. You spoke straight to the fans. You said, I'm speaking to the fans, and spoke about the stats of him playing. We're not idiots, Jose. We're not your playthings to keep your job. You are not good enough any longer to be manager of this great club. This club is a giant. And this is not a delusional statement. We know Manchester United are the most wealthiest, profit-making outfit in the world. One of them. And definitely out of the sporting outfits, they are the biggest. Bigger than Barcelona. Bigger than Real Madrid, who are pretty much run by their own council, right? Manchester United are a powerhouse. Yesterday, Ed Woodward came out, apparently, because you never know, these quotes always can't get rewritten, but he said he wants to invest in the team, and that's why he brought Jose to the club. If that's why you brought Jose to the club, why didn't you just give him another 100 million to spend in the summer? Because you don't trust his judgment. Because he wanted to bring a bunch of old age pensioners to the club and you didn't agree with it. That's why you booted out his assistant and promoted Michael Carrick and Kieran, which was a great move. But also, Ed Woodward did that because he knows that very soon Mourinho's probably going to quit. Now, Mourinho's not really a quitter. Normally, he would stick this out. You see, Manchester United is Jose Mourinho's final chance to prove he's still a great manager. He's not proving that. The more he stays here, the worse he gets. He keeps on digging this hole for himself, and it's getting deeper and deeper. I'm not very interested in people who defend him because you're defending on false logic. You're defending him on a false narrative. It's the players, it's the players, it's the players, it's the players. Players are like special forces soldiers. They follow orders, right? What was it in Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men? We follow orders or people die, right? Well, it's not as dramatic as that in football, but footballers are like soldiers. They do as they're told. Now, sometimes they speak out and say, hang on, boss, should we really be doing this? Now, Paul Pogba is in a very powerful position, and I think it's very interesting. Him being stripped out of the vice-captaincy could be the beginning of the end for Mourinho. Did he strip him with the club's permission, or did he make an independent decision? Now, the club begged Mourinho to give Pogba an olive branch in the summer. That was the vice-captaincy. That was him saying he's a nice guy. He was saying some nice things about him. He wouldn't say anything negative about him. But now he's stripped him. He showed that it's all true, that this power struggle between Pogba and Mourinho is real. He's shown that Pogba doesn't want to play for him. He'd rather leave his beloved Manchester United than play for Jose Mourinho. We don't know what type of lad Pogba is. We don't know what he thinks, what he says behind closed doors. But let me tell you something. This was a player tearing it up at Juventus. Now, we know the Italian league isn't as strong as it used to be, but he was doing it in the Champions League as well. He was playing well in his strongest position. Now, we all said when he came to Manchester United, he's got to play him just behind the forward, or as further forward as possible. What did he do? He started playing him in negative positions in midfield, sometimes even in defensive midfield positions. That is not Paul Pogba. He plays most of his most talented players out of position. Explain that to me, Jose fanboys and fangirls. Tell me how that's right. How you don't play your players to your strengths. Oh, you're going to tell me players should be able to do anything, anywhere. But why? Why not play your players to your strengths? You know, it doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. Jose Mourinho has become an illogical, babbling fool. And he needs to leave our club. His style of play is his style of play. He's never going to change. But we don't want to deal with this man anymore. A great amount of us. Now, a lot of people say the whole club's in a mess, the board's a mess. Look at it. It's funny, isn't it, that at every club, when things become a shit show, we look upstairs, don't we? It's like, oh, it's all their fault. Well, let's look at Ed Woodward and the board. Their mistake is this. As soon as Sir Alex left, they should have got a director of football to be in charge of managerial appointments and transfers. Because no one on that board has any knowledge of football, right? Apart from Sir Bobby Charlton, who's kind of a director, a silent director, if you like, and I think Sir Alex is as well. Sir Alex is not in the position any longer to be involved with what happens at Manchester United. And to be honest, any advice Ferguson's given since he's retired hasn't been very good, has it? Let's be honest about that. He went and spoke to Pochettino, right, while he was at Spurs. Pochettino said no, he wanted to be loyal to Spurs. So we went to Jose because the club felt there was nowhere else to go. And a lot of the fans, and I mean a lot of the fans, were clamouring for Mourinho. The press didn't help with all the rumours. I was desperate to get Mourinho because I thought, if anything else, he's a results machine. And that's exactly what we need right now. 3 to 5 years, couple of trophies, then we can get an ideal Manchester United manager. Nobody could have seen this happening. Well, actually, I say that, but really we should have. We saw the shit show in his final season at Chelsea, but we just thought he was heartbroken because he couldn't get the United job. We became a bit deluded and arrogant about Mourinho. So here we are now. Well, we can't get results at home. We got one jammy little result against Leicester, right? The rest have been terrible. We can play away because we can play like the away team. But don't forget the Brighton debacle. Never forget that. So it's really bad. He'll win away. He'll draw at home. That's just no good. It is no good. Especially if you're one of the most powerful clubs in the world. You cannot be playing at home and have clubs like Derby and Wolves pulling your pants down. You can't. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. And we're in a situation now where nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change with this man. He's not suddenly going to change his footballing principles. So, as fans, we have to make a decision. What do we do? Do we blindly support our manager because he's our manager? Someone said on another YouTube channel the other day, oh, I don't want us to become a sacking club. I don't either. But we can't stick with a subpar manager who's gone insane just because we don't want to become a sacking club. It's ridiculous. We've got to give him time. Do you want to see this club in mid-table or worse, relegated? And don't think we're too good to go down because we're not. What's going on at the club? The infighting between manager and players, between fans. This is how great empires are disassembled. I've seen it so many times. And it's happening to us. Our history cannot save us. Just like Nottingham Forest's history didn't save them. It doesn't matter that you had a great manager. Manchester United became successful because of one entity, Sir Alex Ferguson. He ran everything apart from the corporate level, and sometimes he used to get involved with that as well. He was a club manager. Once he left, it started to fall to pieces because he wasn't there doing the things he was doing for nearly 25 years. You have to look at these situations logically. And we can't keep on saying, back Mourinho, or I'll back Mourinho till he's not there. You can't do that. We have the power to remove this poisonous entity from our club and watch Paul Pogba play in his strongest position. Watch Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford after 5 to 10 games getting confident up front together, going past defenders and scoring goals. You just watch them. He has shackled our greatest players, our most talented players. That cannot be the case at Manchester United. I don't hate anyone in football, even if I don't like the way they play or the way they manage. It's not about hate. I admire Jose Mourinho for what he's achieved. Do I think he's a particularly nice guy? Well, for what we've seen in football, I don't think he is. But again, it's like Sir Alex Ferguson. Anyone who's come up against him probably say, actually, he did this and that to me. Things we don't know about. So that would but that's what successful people do. But at the end of the day, Jose Mourinho isn't successful at United. He's won a Europa League and the League Cup. And he even tries to add the Charity Shield, or the Community Shield as it's called now, as one of his trophies. That's a loser mentality, as Roy Keane said himself, not in those words. As supporters, we have to get behind the narrative that this man has to go. Because if he doesn't, it's going to get worse and worse and worse until we find ourselves in the Championship. You can laugh at me. You can think, nah, this will never happen. What are you talking about? Who are you with 40 subs? Well, I'm a former Iron Apple reality star, if you really want to know. Developing the first English dramas here on Cyprus Television. Doesn't make me a big deal. I'm a very low-level person in the entertainment industry. But at the end of the day, I love Manchester United. I love this club with all my heart. And to see what's going on, when it can be fixed by removing this entity, bringing in a director of football to make these decisions. And I read on Twitter the pro-Mourinho press and the anti-Mourinho press. But the pro-Mourinho press are now in a delusional state. And they're starting to get lesser and lesser and lesser. Because ultimately you can't deny what's staring you in the face. What's staring you in the face is this man is losing the dressing room. Slowly but surely. How long can he carry on for? He's like a man hanging from a very high cliff. You've seen those films when they're grabbing it and, they're slipping down? And that's Jose Mourinho. It's over. Back him. No, I'm not going to back him. Well, you're not a loyal fan then. Who are you to tell me about my loyalty? My loyalty is to Manchester United and its supporters, even the ones who hate me and don't agree with me. And my responsibility to Manchester United and the rest of the supporters is to tell you that this man hasn't got the club's or our best interests at heart. All he cares about is Jose Mourinho FC, about his CV, about his achievements. I thought this was the perfect club for him. He would be so ambitious to try and outdo what Sir Alex did. But it hasn't been the case. If anything, he seems intimidated by our club. He's looked smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's time for us to vocally, through social media and any other avenue, to start focusing on driving this man out of this club. Not having plain messages with Woodward out. First of all, you can't get rid of Ed Woodward. And in his position, he's doing a good job. He's made mistakes with managerial appointments, yes. But he can learn from that, hopefully. Or the Glazers can remove him if they're not happy in the next time they get to vote for a chief executive. I don't know how it's done. But what we can't do is living this dream world that Mourinho will get it right, that Ferguson took this amount of time to get it right. Ferguson came to a club with nothing. Mourinho came to a club with everything. A beautiful stadium, top-class players. Yes, he needed to buy more players, but even that hasn't worked out. He hasn't created a team in 3 years. It's bits and pieces of Fergie's, it's bits and pieces of LVG's, and bits and pieces of his. It is not good enough, and he has to go.